This is Camnet News. Thank you so much for choosing us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. The top stories on our desk this evening: Democratic Party President Harry Kalava labels the United Party for National Development Administration a job on training project. Zambian Lotto agents demand benefits following its closure. Engineering Institute of Zambia to prescribe a minimum wage for its members. In international news, cholera kills 29 in 1 week in Cameroon. And in sports news, Egypt gained sweet revenge over Senegal.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Do you have an extra car? Then make yourself extra money. We would like to put that car, yes, that car parked there, to good use to make you extra money on the side just through its service while keeping it safe and secure. Call 0765-02-3883 to register your vehicle with us today. Delpo Services. Service beyond satisfaction.
Once again, thank you for joining us. The news in detail. A 51-year-old woman of Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound in Monali constituency, Jennifer Mubola, who has lived with leprosy for the past 17 years, has called on government and other well-wishers to help her access treatment. There were 127,558 leprosy cases detected globally in 2020, according to the official figures from 139 countries from the 6 World Health Organization regions. In an interview with Camnet News, Ms. Mubola says she cannot afford the medical expenses that come with treating the disease. Details in this report.
This is Jennifer Mubola, a 51-year-old woman of Kalingalinga compound in Lusaka's Monales constituency. It might look like all is well with her when actually she suffers from a disease called leprosy. Ms. Mubola has lived with leprosy, which is an infectious disease that causes severe, disfiguring skin sores and nerve damage in one's body for 17 years. She can barely walk to perform daily activities without the help of her family. The patient told Camnet News how she's desperately in need of financial support to treat the disease.
Viva, vai. Mungafuneko maybe muzika, mungafuneko tandiza bwanji mami wangu.
Nataka kumtandiza kuti niambira mwishe mtu rejiwa wakilonda ichi.
She explained to this reporter how painful the 17 years have been living with leprosy.
Kuja mkuja?
Ni kuja.
So nitandizira bwanji nyavo kuja?
Kuja vamini.
Meanwhile, her sister discloses how difficult it has been to effectively nurse her sister as the family cannot meet most financial demands.
So mama ndipempa ko batandize ko sister bata tifuna bapole ndiye bamayi bane bana sarafu bameni abalinzi nabo bene nabana bawe nabana batatu bati bana na bebe nchito bali so bali bonse banga mbereko banga paseko che uro mwana bampezera ko che vochita bili bonse so atakastandizirako pa nyumba bintu mbovu tamaningi chabe mwandi tipempa ko kuri bali bonse bomberako.
The attainment of Zambia's goal of being prosperous and middle-income country by 2030, as stipulated in its Vision 2030, is dependent on, among other things, a healthy and productive population. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Mafinga residents of Muchinga province have bemoaned the lack of electricity connection in most parts of the district. Lack of power and continued electricity outages by the power utility has worried Loveness Congo and others, saying businesses are being negatively affected.
Thousands of Zambians depend on small and medium-scale businesses ranging from salons, welding, and butcheries whose operations highly depend on electricity. Lack of electricity in any locality would imply poor operations of domestic activities and businesses. In Mafinga district, lack of power and continued electricity outages has worried residents, saying businesses are being affected negatively. Sikongo Loveness says most residents in the district survive on solar power sources, regardless the district having been connected to the national grid.
Kulingana business amalaiti na yeye nana tukwata problem ama fridge tuletu okushita mwa kusungirako ifya kushitisha so filevola pale chena tuleko nkomesha sana ba government kutila benga twafurishako kulingana na malaiti so nga twakwata problem en kushipatala abantu abengi balefu because amalaiti tayari sana ayabombesha
ngamuno kapari chenjo ndemo napo kwenda mwe bantu ikunu mokutu yali ile 2 weeks samarite la kwali so manga kwati fya to abafe idiosi oro no dose sha abengi muno tawa dose.
They have since called on relevant authorities to roll out programs that will facilitate power connections.
Wa sambi shops mo maraiti but sambi shops mo maraiti then baingira mulaki kwa pantwa libi kwara bati iliwa baleta idea at promotion like promotion kuno takwa promotion kwa fya direct ya bantu wa dosa romba fya kuta abantu tabishi bafotire bombo kuti bachipokerere kwa kuta watu leta kwa that promotion via big Facebook promotion but dosa over 5 free ni biabe ngaba kwete fya kuta dosa.
Meanwhile, District Council Secretary Francis Indola says the council has been encouraging people to connect, but most seem not to manage the current rates.
Because even the current connection fees are becoming an hindrance for the people to apply for connections. So if those plans are approved by ERB subsequently, I think it will really have a negative impact on us, because I think this is a farming area, subsistence, enhanced subsistence. And most of our residents, I think, have not reached that level of trying to manage that increment. It will be a big hindrance to that activity. As of now, the two areas, Tendere and Miombe, have been connected, particularly the government institutions. For Tendere, we are still encouraging to apply to ZESCO so that, especially that the quotation was suspended, and now that they have been lifted, we'll be able to have our residents to access the electricity.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Mafinga District.
A 45-year-old woman of Lusaka's Mutandabantu township in Kanyama, who recently appeared on Camnet TV explaining how her ex-husband allegedly assaulted her and maliciously damaged her household property, has been referred to the Kanyama local court. Given Kalaba, a mother of 5, is expected to face her former husband, Obed Mutuba, 48, in the Kanyama local court on Tuesday next week. Meanwhile, Families and Nations Director Judith Mwila has charged that the only method to help address the rapid increase of gender-based violence is by strengthening family systems.
Although her ex-husband, who allegedly maliciously damaged her property and physically abused her, has not been arrested yet and is currently on the run, there seemed to be some hope in her case that she might receive the justice she needs. Given Calabar 45 of Lusaka's Mutatabantu compound first appeared on Camnet TV last week Sunday, narrating her predicament after she went to Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights Organization to report a case on how her ex-husband, Obet Nantumba, 48, resorted to physically abuse her after one of their children failed to give him a 100 kwacha note.
Dadi nilibendera manani niwa wachabe yakuti nikutumireni so mwana mwame wanambo mpressure limina daily wakabuka tinifuna ndrama nilibendera mambegeza nikasakire nyama mena watumira phone na timwe osa pressure linga mwana mpame mnaendera support bwanja bemmaleta ko kuno nimazirushirane ine simaleta ko support iliyonzi babula bambo shauta chape chisatana bwanja bambo ni shauta ndio wameona bwerera flowing de mailo
Now, a week after this incident, progress has been made on this case. The director of the Community Human Rights Organization based in Kanyama compound disclosed that the victim will appear before the Kanyama local court, a move he says will help her get the justice she deserves.
She got the summons and the matter is before Kanyama local court. She got the summons, and we will be sending our people to go and hear the same matter. It will be coming up on Tuesday before Kanyama local court. So we are waiting to hear what the court will say over the same issue. So the matter is before the same. Although she had difficulties to save the documents, court documents.
The organization has also indicated that it will be able to assist her with some financial means as she only sells charcoal and some tomatoes to make ends meet.
Considering as organization is to find the best way how to help the same lady because she's a victim, so that we see how best, because most of the items they were destroyed by the same man. So we are trying to find ways how we should help on the part of business, because she's running a small business at home in order to feed the children.
Meanwhile, Families and Nations Director Judith Mwila has noted that gender-based violence among women is rapidly increasing, hence the need for different intervention that may strengthen the family system.
How does the violence get sorted at the family level? It is effective conflict resolution. So in addition, I would also propose that as a country we need to have processes and institutions which government supports to resolve conflict, to increase care at family level, to provide enough interventions such as counseling, which can help people to refocus.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A volunteer teacher at Progress Disability Organization Zambia's school, Nathan Tembo, has called on well-wishers to come on board and help in expanding the community school, stating that it only has one classroom block accommodating pupils from grade 1 to 6. Mr. Tembo tells Camnet News that this compromises the quality of education, as it is difficult to separate the grades when they are all in one room. Meanwhile, Nakalala Community School Director Nyambe Mbumwaye says there is need to include all community schools on the school feeding program, stating that many children have begun missing classes due to hunger.
This is a classroom block at a community school in Lusaka's George compound, run by Progress Disabilities Organization of Zambia, PDOZ. This classroom block accommodates grades 1 to 6 all in one classroom, as the organization cannot afford to rent other rooms. Community schools in Zambia are on the increase as an initiative by community members aimed at complementing the education system in the face of limited school places. The free education policy has seen many classrooms overcrowded, hence making initiatives like community schools relevant. The state of this school has, however, worried the volunteer teacher, Mr. Nathan Tembo, who is the only teacher at the school.
And we also will need to have books for this year, for these children, or textbooks or books, any help that you can help for the materials of this school. So also the school is so small because we are running from grade 1 up to grade 6. So the classroom is so small, so we need also, because we cannot have another room, we need money to have that room. So if somebody can come up so that we may access another room, so that we may put these other pupils in that class.
Meanwhile, School Director of Nakalala Community School, also in George Compound, Mr. Nyambembumwae, has bemoaned the situation at his school, stating that many pupils are staying away from school due to hunger. He has therefore called for the school feeding program to be extended to all community schools.
We have a challenge of feeding. We find that if you don't have food, a good number of learners don't come to school. So we are requesting from the well-wishers to assist us with feeding program. Well, there is a very good gesture from Mount Meru. Mount Meru assisting a chain of schools with feeding. We are requesting that they extend that to our school as well.
Calls from stakeholders in the education sector have been on improving the quality of education in all schools if to produce a high caliber of citizens. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Some former agents of the Zambian Lotto have demanded benefits from the company following its closure. Edna Kasanda and others claim that the company has only released 200 kwacha as terminal benefits per worker. They have since called on government to address the situation, saying they have been left stranded.
They gather to represent the others to air out their grievances at the company's premises. These are some of the former agents of the Zambian Lotto Limited demanding for benefits from the company following its closure. Edna Kasanda claims to work for the company for over 3 years, but since its closure, the company only paid her and fellow agents 200 kwacha each as benefits.
Nasebenza for 3 years ku Zambian Lotto. So after our Vala company, tunabura isekuno as a group. Chat expect members that pass something poyambira, but on our surprise kuno, and that pass 150, winangu 95. Manje tufuna wa government watanze, umuntu wamena asebenza 3 years. Company bavala bangampasa bwanyu 192 mara nyumba nzali kila chani ne bana tutavadisa chani kozi naye sainaenda muli wa boss na kamba nao sa help us. He told me that I'm wasting his time, but 3 years I was not wasting his time, but now I'm wasting time. Where are we going to? Zambia parties. Bafuna tuamboshita chani
one day manchi varodo vatiganizire. The only thing that we need is for at least okay guys zipo yambira ni apa ndamata kupasa nkoni ni is better not ba mena vati edo wakutaka kwa bati bana mizila government kuti government ngena kuti ti blocking shanshan I think information is not even like kugara mu mutu mwanzo hizi never been ile ni service but for why is any service ni nitenge ticket ngesele customer at machine blocked batumira phone at bameba mwanzo bampatishike bwanje.
They claim they do not have where to go from here, as the news for company's closure came as a shock. Meanwhile, when approached the company's management, corporate manager Majed El Shah reserved his comment, saying the chief executive officer was not available to provide the necessary information.
For Zambian Lotto, I just want to inform you that the CEO for Zambian Lotto will arrive on Monday, and for any more clarifications, you are free to come and communicate with him.
But efforts to contact the company chief executive officer proved futile.
The subscriber you have dialed is not reachable.
The agents have since appealed to government to intervene in the matter. On 16th March 2022, Zambian Lotto management announced its closure, with the last day of operation being 17th March 2022. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Democratic Party President Harry Kalava has charged that the United Party for National Development Administration is a job and training project with no knowledge on governance. Mr. Kalava believes that the UPND administration is losing the fight against corruption due to what he terms as lack of seriousness. Mr. Kalava is disappointed that President Hakainde Hichilema was allegedly begging thieves to surrender their stolen properties as opposed to investigating and persecuting them. But Ministry of Information and Media Director Tabo Kawana has advised government critiques against undermining the fight against corruption.
Corruption is described as a cancer that deprives the country of its ability to address social needs such as health, education and poverty. The United Party for National Development, UPND, while in opposition, campaigned on the basis of good governance and an overview of combating graft. Well, many people who served in the previous administration are being investigated, one after the other. And during his recent address in Parliament on the progress made in the application of national values and morals, President Hakainde Hichilema extended an amnesty to the corrupt.
Let me emphasize this. We encourage those who engaged in corruption to voluntarily come forward and pay back to society what they took.
But Opposition Patriotic Front acting President Given Lubinda dared the president to go for the corrupt and stop begging them to surrender themselves.
Remember, I told him, I said, please, BMW, don't beg thieves. Don't beg them. Arrest them and present them before the law. And that's exactly what he has done.
But Democratic Party President Hari Kalaba has questioned the seriousness in the fight against corruption.
Statements on corruption. That time was at Mulongoshi. He was saying, no, corruption, they supplied air. But we have not seen any one of these people being arrested. We would want to see people getting prosecuted, not just talking the talk. Why is he now appealing to them to surrender themselves? Okay, they have refused to surrender themselves. And they're now teasing him. They're now saying, if we have stolen, come and arrest us. He has done nothing about it. Meaning, he doesn't know where to start from. The fight against corruption is completely lost. It's beyond the president. He has failed to know where to touch, because this is different from whatever firms he was dealing with. This is a nation. And the earlier the president realizes that this is a nation, the better for all of us. This is the problem of having people who have never understood how governance runs. But when we talk, we're saying, no, they're just jealous, they're just jealous. This is job on training. We have got a problem on our hands as a country. Because even things that should be taken seriously are not being taken seriously. How do you ask a thief who has stolen? You go on TV and tell a thief who has stolen a TV from your house. You announce on radio, surrender yourself before we begin finding you. The thief will come. You are wasting people's time.
We also spoke to Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Tabo Kawana, who had a piece of advice to lend her to the PF.
That window is soon closing, and this administration cannot fail to fight corruption. I think we saw one of the leaders, it is just a week or two ago, was daring, saying if people have stolen, let them be arrested, and instead of begging them to bring back that which they've stolen. It is just yesterday that one of them was arrested, and they continue to cry that we are being arrested because we are PF. I want to make it very clear and repeat that there is no investigation targeted at the Patriotic Front. All investigations are targeted at the crimes committed. Whoever is involved in those crimes will be brought to book, regardless of political affiliation. So if you find yourself to be PF, to be UPND, to be MMD, to be Adedo Zamkano, and you are involved in the criminal activities, you will be brought to book.
It must be noted that there is no distinction in corruption, but destruction and deprivation. But the question is, are we winning the fight against corruption? Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Economic Freedom Fighters Party President Kasonde Mwenda says there is need to set up a commission of inquiry on corruption if the vice is to be effectively dealt with. Mr. Mwenda says EFF wrote to the Anti-Corruption Commission about a month ago asking ACC to investigate how fertilizer tender to a tune of 51 million kwacha was allocated in Southern Province without an advertisement in 2021, but nothing has come out of the same since it was reported. In an interview with Camnet News, the opposition leader adds that the accountants in various public institutions must also be investigated.
There are many people that were involved in corruption. If the government doesn't know, it should ask us. It should constitute a commission of inquiry so that people can bring evidence, because these people who know corruption more than the government, we were seeing things happen. So they should open up and let the Pandora box be open so that people can bring information. Not this witch hunt where they're selectively choosing people who to bring down in the disguise of fighting corruption. If you go to Anti-Corruption Commission, I hope this time they have sat, because the whole month of February, Anti-Corruption Commission did not sit to address or receive complaints of corruption. So with that kind of laissez-faire approach, we don't think this government is serious with fighting corruption, and we hope they will change, because under this trajectory, they are wasting time and resources of this republic, the resources that we so dearly need. Just last month, we reported the fertilizer scandal, where we understand that Cabinet presided over an illegality by procuring fertilizer using no tender, where they single-sourced, which is against the law, to a tune of 51 million at an exorbitant price. We reported that to Anti-Corruption Commission to investigate it. What happened? The letter has gone missing. So that kind of mischievous behavior under the Anti-Corruption Commission just takes away the confidence that we have that corruption is being seriously fought under this government.
Teddy Mulenga, a medical doctor, has called for a statutory instrument number 39 of 2008, which prohibits public smoking, to be fully effected. In an interview, Dr. Mulenga says public smoking has become normalized in Zambia despite it being illegal and endangering the health of second-hand smokers, among them infants and children. The medical doctor has also called for a complete ban of shisha smoking, stating that 1 hour of shisha smoking is equivalent to smoking 100 cigarettes all at once, hence increasing the chances of various types of cancers for smokers.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, people who inhale smoke passed on from public smokers are in danger of various types of illnesses such as coronary heart disease, stroke, and lung cancer. This is because the smoke, despite not being inhaled directly, has more than 7,000 chemicals, 70 of which can cause cancer. Infants and children with weak immune systems are even at higher risk. The vice of public smoking has, however, continued in Zambia, despite statutory instrument number 39 of 2008 declaring this as illegal. If found guilty, one is liable to a fine or imprisonment of up to 2 years. A medical doctor, Teddy Mulenga, says there is need to fully effect laws on public smoking, as the health of second-hand smokers is highly endangered.
So, but are we implementing them? That is the question. And if we are not doing that, why are we not doing that? That's why the Tobacco Free Association of Zambia, they want a comprehensive act that would encompass everything, and with implementation strategies. Otherwise, public smoking is a danger to our children, it's a danger to the youth, it's a danger to everybody, because it forces you to consume that which you do not want to consume.
Dr. Mulenga has also called for a complete ban on shisha smoking, which he says is on the rise in Zambia, stating that it is more dangerous than regular cigarettes due to the high levels of nicotine.
When you take 1 hour of shisha smoking, it translates to smoking all at once 100 cigarettes. Now you can imagine how much nicotine you are taking in, how much risk you have of developing oral tongue cancer, throat cancer, stomach cancer. If you are using the same pipe, which they usually do, you have seen them, you stand the risk of getting infections that are transmitted from the mouth, herpes, H. pylori, which causes the stomach ulcers, okay? COVID itself, isn't it? Tuberculosis. So these are risks of shisha.
He has also called for the enactment of the Tobacco Control Bill to see matters on tobacco effectively regulated. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
The Engineering Institute of Zambia to prescribe a minimum wage for its members. This and more after the break.
ZAMBIA, Save Nations, Develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy: agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. ZAMBIA, trade and logistics made easy.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Do you have an extra car? Then make yourself extra money. We would like to put that car, yes, that car parked there, to good use to make you extra money on the side just through its service while keeping it safe and secure. Call 0765 02 3883 to register your vehicle with us today. Delpo Services. Service beyond satisfaction.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. The Engineering Institute of Zambia President Abu Ngandu has disclosed that they have made progress in coming up with a minimum wage for engineers in the country. Engineer Ngandu says they have also finalized the minimum payment for services being provided by engineers in a quest to elevate their livelihoods. In the meantime, Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Mulenga says the role which engineers play in the country's development cannot be overemphasized. He has since challenged engineers to position themselves to take their rightful position in the development of the country. The duo was speaking during the EIZ Southern Region Annual General Meeting held in Lusaka Saturday.
Engineers from a diverse section of society converged during the Southern Region Annual General Meeting held in Lusaka Saturday. Addressing the gathering, EIZ President Abu Ngandu disclosed that they have made progress to come up with a minimum wage for engineers in the country. Engineer Ngandu explains that this includes the fees for services being provided by the engineers in view of bettering the livelihoods of their members.
We have emphasized on promoting entrepreneurship because we want to wipe out poverty in our institution. Because as you know, anywhere in the world, Minister, the engineering profession, they are the drivers of the economy. So there is no way we can be at the bottom of the financial ladder. So we want to make sure that our members are uplifted. So what we've done is that we have submitted a document for minimum charge-out rates. It's before the Minister of Infrastructure. It will prescribe through an SI the minimum that our engineering professionals charge. Then the other thing should be in that SI will be the issue of minimum salaries. For a long time, the Honorable Minister, we have challenges where our members are underpaid.
And officiating the event, Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Mulenga has challenged the engineers to position themselves to take the right position in the development of the country. He says engineers remain a sleeping giant, a narrative he said must be changed under the United Party for National Development Administration.
As government, we eagerly look forward to working with you in various sectors of our economy, especially the construction industry. Ladies and gentlemen, engineering has the ability to change the landscape of any country. Consequently, the onus is on the Engineering Institute of Zambia to take advantage of the enabling environment that the government has created. It should be noted with pride that at least the engineering fraternity has contributed towards Zambia's development and is leading the country's development into the future. As professionals, we need to take ownership of the landscape, or should I say, we need to take ownership of the lapses we have in our profession, and we can only do so by working together as professionals.
He has since employed engineers to be innovative and stop venturing in obvious businesses.
The opportunity has come now for yourselves to position yourselves strategically, or let me say for ourselves to position ourselves strategically, to be a part not only of the beneficiaries or the beneficiation group of this resource, but the people that will also mentor, train, and educate the people that will manage these resources. Because in my constituency, there will be no one that will build those classrooms anymore. Nobody will renovate those health centers and desks, but the people that are resident in my constituency. And for them to achieve this, they need your support. So please come and support the work with us.
Patrick Soto, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba says government has taken a clear stance to promote domestic tourism in its quest to grow the economy. Speaking during the opening of the China Sprint for Impact in Chongwe District, the minister says government is also keen on encouraging ecotourism across the country to lessen pollution in game-protected areas. Mr. Sikumba emphasized on the need to grow domestic tourism as it plays a crucial role in preserving conservation and culture.
Almighty, Baka is still society, fire is burning our hearts, and someone drank this dance fire.
The tourism industry, directly and indirectly, provides significant employment and income opportunities for Zambians. It also contributes to the economy in terms of foreign exchange earnings, balance of payments, and generates tax revenue for the treasury. Saturday, Tourism Minister Rodney Sikumba says government has taken a clear stance to promote domestic tourism in its quest to grow the economy. The minister speaking during the opening of the China Sprint Impact in Chongwe District. This is an event which is also a celebration of country's culture using locally dug out canoes,
energy, and as well as infrastructure. By demolishing silos that are held the best ideas at bay, more Zambians can be attracted to participate as both consumers and investors in nature-based economy. Ladies and gentlemen, as the ministry, we are pushing an agenda that will allow private sector individuals, private sector companies to participate within the tourism sector.
Mr. Sikumba adds that domestic tourism is a force for positive change because it is sustainable and resilient from external shocks such as COVID-19.
That we embrace domestic tourism. We need to start growing our numbers locally, and we need to grow organically. Learning from other countries that have successfully grown the economies from tourism, the domestic component has proven to be a force for positive change. Though international tourists are very important in our push to realize our contribution to GDP, domestic tourism cannot be ignored because it is sustainable and resilient from external shocks that affect the sector from time to time.
The event was attended by Minister of Finance, Dr. Stombeko Msokotwani, Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Collins Nzovu, and several ministers' wives, while several corporate entities participated in the race. Alex Shunda, Camnet News, Chongwe District.
United Party for National Development, UPND, Lusaka's Chainda Ward 33 Councillor Patrick Mpundu has reiterated government's commitment to taking positive climate action for the benefit of the country. Speaking during a tree planting activity at Chainda Primary School in Lusaka during the commemoration of the World Earth Hour Day, Mr. Mpundu says there is need for everyone to recognize the importance of environmental protection. Earth Hour is a global climate change initiative aimed at creating awareness of people taking responsibility towards a sustainable future. The event, which falls annually on the 26th of March, is this year being commemorated under the theme Shape Our Future.
Every year, on the last Saturday in March, millions of people all around the globe take part in the worldwide event to raise awareness about climate change and the energy conservation. Earth Hour Day is the name of the event and is commemorated on the 26th of March. The Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, was the first to establish it. It quickly grew into a global movement. People around the world are required to turn off lights from 20:30 to 21:20 p.m. local time to commemorate Earth Hour. This year's event, which is commemorated under the theme Shape Our Future, saw different stakeholders like the WWF and the Save Environment in collaboration with local authority conduct a tree planting activity at Chainda Primary School in the capital Lusaka. UPND Chainda Ward 33 Councillor Nsama Patrick Mpundu says everyone needs to recognize the importance of the environmental protection.
I think the emphasis also needs to be on saving our environment by planting trees, but also by working on issues such as recycling, because one of the things that leads to a lot of environmental degradation is the plastic waste that's been accumulating. So in as much as we're looking to save the environment, let's also put an emphasis on having more recycling plants within the country so that we can even incentivize garbage collection and have a cleaner Zambia. I believe that we've only got one planet, Miriam, and we have to take special care of it. And as Chainda, we want to be a leading example, following after the mayor of Lusaka's great example, her planting expedition. We're also joining in, and we're part and parcel of caring for Zambia.
Commemorating Earth Hour. Earth Hour is a day that we celebrate. We are passionate about Earth Hour. Every year we never miss Earth Hour as a group. So today we're going to do a few activities like planting trees. We'll have a flash mob at the mall and Chainda, the mall at Twimpamo and at Chainda, so we can sensitize people, get the crowd to talk about Earth Hour and how we can play a role as citizens in protecting the environment.
Save the Environment organization also added their comment.
Save the Environment has partnered with WWF because we both share the same mission and vision, which partly is conserving the environment and also talking about water and sanitation. So the trees both have a big role to play in the water and sanitation sector, because at the end of the day, all water, which is essential for life, comes from the trees.
The young ones who took part in the event also aired out their messages, and some of the teachers at Chainda Primary School.
Earth Hour is very important to each and every individual. They should participate. At least they ensure at their household they plant a tree so that we can save the earth.
We were taught what Earth Hour is, and I've heard that it is the saving of energy, and you can save energy by switching off appliances such as stoves, TVs, bulbs if they are at no use.
We take part in Earth Hour because we want to be the people who can sensitize the other people who are not aware on the importance of forests, the importance of wildlife, and how they can conserve it.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet News. We take another set of commercials. When we return, we have sports and international news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. In international news, 29 people have died of cholera in Cameroon. In the past 1 week, the country's health minister announced on Friday, 23 March 2022, 27 people have died of cholera in 3 major towns in western Cameroon and 2 in the capital, Yaoundé. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to send a clear message to his Russian counterpart, Vladimir Putin, that the world's major economies are united and he will be held accountable for the invasion of Ukraine. Biden earlier paid America's soldiers a visit at a military base just an hour from the border with Ukraine. Here's a roundup of international news.
29 people have died of cholera in a week in Cameroon, mainly in the west of the country, which is facing an outbreak, the health minister announced on Friday. The acute diarrheal disease, which can kill within hours if left untreated, periodically reappears in this Central African country of more than 25 million people. Between March 16th and 22nd, over 300 cases of the disease were reported in the southwest, according to Health Minister Manauda Malachi. 27 people have died of cholera in 3 major cities in western Cameroon and 2 in the capital Yaoundé. Since October 2021, the cholera outbreak has claimed 62 lives, with nearly 2,100 cases reported. Cholera spreads by eating or drinking food or water contaminated by the feces of an infected person.
The southeastern city of Rzeszów, Poland, is as close as the U.S. President Joe Biden has come so far to Russia's war on Ukraine.
Take off and head out into Russia.
It's his first chance to speak with U.S. troops now stationed there.
Ukrainian people have a lot of backbone. They have a lot of guts, and I'm sure you're observing. What's your name?
The city is less than 100 kilometers from Ukraine's border, and it's where roughly 10,000 U.S. troops are positioned, ready to take on Russia should it expand its invasion into the NATO country. It's a conflict Biden told soldiers he believes could have long-term ramifications.
Are democracies going to prevail and the values we share, or autocracy is going to prevail? And that's really what's at stake.
More than 3 million people have been displaced from Ukraine since Russia's invasion. Because of Ukraine's more than 500-kilometer shared land border with Poland, more than 2 million people have fled to the neighboring country.
We'd like to ask America and their leaders to please support Ukraine so Ukraine is not attacked by the Russians.
Americans should stop rockets flying in our airspace. This is the most important thing, because all of those rockets are terrible, like a nightmare.
Biden has vowed to help manage the migrant crisis emerging along Poland's border with Ukraine, but he won't commit to implementing a no-fly zone. On Friday, as Biden met with Poland's president, he once again accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of war crimes for targeting civilians in Ukraine.
I quite frankly think is a war criminal.
But Biden isn't just promising humanitarian assistance. Before departing Brussels on Friday, the United States and European Union announced a new agreement to provide the EU with extra gas, equivalent to about 10% of what it currently gets from Russia by the end of the year. Biden hopes to choke out Russia's energy revenue and, in turn, military funding. But on Saturday, President Biden sits down with President Duda in the royal castle behind me for a more lengthy discussion on the conflict. It's Biden's final opportunity to reassure a nervous ally in person of the U.S. and NATO commitment to defend Poland should Russia make Poland its next target.
We now look at sports news. Camnet Stars has beaten Modern Stars by 2-0 in the FAS Zone 2 Under-19 Week 14 games. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Modern Stars head coach Michael says his team lost concentration in the second half, hence the loss. And Camnet Stars assistant coach Maybin Walia says his team performed extremely well. Let's look at this.
We've been covering a match where Camnet Stars was being hosted by Modern Stars in Kalingalinga grounds, and with me this afternoon, the game has ended. Camnet Stars has scored 2 second half goals to end the match 2-0. And with me now, I have the coach for Modern Stars who's going to give us an overview of how the game went. Coach Michael, it's always a pleasure to have you guys, and now your team managed to hold Camnet Stars 0-0 at halftime. Where do you think your team lost it in the second half for you to concede those 2 goals?
Losing concentration and marking.
You talk about concentrating and marking. Tenze taona uko bora mwenze kuendera uko kumabampo kukipa ya mpita pafupi ya chapa chimwala ya jumpa at your own home ground. Si mwenze mwaona ati uku mwenze mwaona bwanji jago ya number 1 yangena was ya number 2. It looked like it was an offside. What was your view about that game, that goal?
Goal ya number 1 ma defender chebanga bakangwa che kumaka che ball. Otherwise mezwa maka ball asimisi sinangene ja first.
In this afternoon's encounter, Felix, good afternoon and welcome to this short interview after beating Modern Stars by 2-0. Bwanji mwambera bwanji timu imwe mwabwera kuno awea wa munaba wina kwatu ku home ground kwanu munaba wina 4 kuno mwabwera mwafagira po 2. What was it coach telling you at half time? Because at half time bola enzi yasira 0-0 tenstankala wale dibetenze kutamba mwenze mwachitapo bwanji second half.
First of all, I want to say thanks to the Almighty God for giving us this victory. It was not an easy game, but we have managed to beat them. And secondly, there was no bad injury, so we give all thanks to the Almighty God. And coming back to the game, I think the game was just okay. We have managed to beat them. And the coach told us that he told us that we should just keep on fighting. We don't have to underrate them, that we have won them to our pitch. So
game was new at halftime. I saw you harassing the young boys at halftime, trying to encourage them and push them. What is your take about the performance, the exceptional performance of Camnet Stars in the second half?
In the second half, we performed well. We utilized the chances we had, but in the first half, we had a lot of chances, but we couldn't utilize those chances.
Still in sports, Egypt secured a 1-0 win over Senegal in the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifications third round first leg match at the Cairo International Stadium in Cairo on Friday night. The victory avenged the Pharaohs' defeat to the Lions of Teranga in the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations final last month. The two teams will now clash in the second leg encounter in Senegal on Tuesday, with a spot in the World Cup finals in Qatar at stake. The Pharaohs applied some early pressure on the Lions of Teranga's defense, and they were gifted a goal just 4 minutes into the game after a good move by the 7-time African champions. Mohamed Salah's shot hit the woodwork, before rebounding off Salio Sisi and into the back of the net as the Senegal fullback netted an unfortunate on goal to hand Egypt a 1-0 lead. Senegal had a final away to level matters, and their first real chance of the game fell for their talisman Sadio Mane after he dribbled past Mohamed with half-time approaching. Wow. That item ends our news this evening. The headlines once again. Wow. Democratic Party President Harry Kalava labels the UPND administration as a job on training. Zambian Lotto agents demand benefits following its closure. Engineering Institute of Zambia to prescribe a minimum wage for its workers. In international news, cholera kills 29 in 1 week in Cameroon. And in sports, Egypt gains sweet revenge over Senegal. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, and it's coming from Habakkuk 3 verse 17 to 18, and it reads, "Though the fig tree does not bud, there is no fruit on the vines, though the olive crop fails, and the fields produce no food, though there are no sleep in the pen and no cattle in the stores, yet I will triumph in Yahweh, I will rejoice in the God of my salvation." Well, thank you so much for choosing Camnet TV. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Good night.